What is going on, guys? It's me, your host, the one and only Two Toes. And on today's video, I'm sorry, it's been a minute, I know, but we're back, we here, and we got a story. We got a banger story, we got a good story. We got part 4 of me almost arrested today. Well, not today. I didn't almost get arrested today. It's only 8:04 a.m. That would be fucking shitty if you were to get arrested at 8 in the morning. Side note, before we get into the story real quick, I actually knew someone. It was one of my plugs. He ended up actually getting arrested, and it was like 7, 8 in the morning, some shit. I read the police report, man, or whatever it was. That's gotta be a shitty morning. I hope you all are having a chill day out there. If you are, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you aren't, I hope this video can bring a little light to your day. Just make you smirk, smile. If I can do that, I feel accomplished. Me and my homie, we're just chilling. It was just a regular day. I think it was in the summertime. No, it was not. It was actually May. It was the last month of school, man. The days were counting down. You remember that when you were in high school? Whenever it'd be the last month of school before summer, you'd just be counting down the days. Yeah, that's what was going on. That's the time period we in right now. So we were just chilling, and at this point in time, with the car that I had, me and my homie were notorious. We would just straight box that car, bro. It was like, it would get to the point like so many times in that car we could barely see out the window because of how thick the smoke was, or at least, you know, the beams of light that you get whenever you're in a box car or anything like that. The beams of light that you get coming through, yeah, it was like that. Got little lasers shooting through the windows. We were just chilling by his house. We were just hotboxing this car to no end, like we normally would. It was nice because we had just picked up, I think that day we had picked up either not much, either like a fresh gram or a fresh dub, which was a pretty alright cop back then. A nice gram or a dub, you know, for just a day of hanging out. That was always a good time back then, man. Still is. We had gone through most of what we would have, probably a good 3/4 of it. We had just straight spent it all on the HotBox, and we just had a tiny bit left. So after we were done hotboxing the car, looking like Cheech and Chong, got the fucking squinted ass eyes, all the good shit. My eyes were fucking bloodshot to no end because back then, sometimes now, but my eyes don't get bad as much like they used to back like a couple years ago, year ago even. If I smoke in the morning, my eyes typically don't get bad throughout the day. But if I don't smoke in the morning and I just get fucking toasted, make roasted some point in the afternoon / evening, night, any other time of the day that's not morning, my eyes be looking like tomatoes. They are, my eyes are the color of this lighter after smoking some fat bowls if I don't smoke in the morning. And that's no exaggeration, it's bad, bro. Like, I've scared people with my eyes before. So we finished the hotbox. In order to keep the hotbox a hotbox, how we ashed the bowl that we were smoking out of was, it was so stupid, bro. My car was so trashed, and my homie's done it before, so we ended up just saying fuck it. He would just empty out bowls onto the floor of my car sometimes, which was terrible. I didn't necessarily care that he did it. It started off with him doing it on accident, and after, my car was just trashed. It was just an old beat up car. I didn't take care of that car like I should have, if I'm being 100% honest. And the floors of that car was just trashed beyond repair. Like, there was nothing you could do to those things without spending some deep bucks on getting that shit professionally cleaned, or unless you wanted to spend hours doing that shit yourself. He just ashed the bowl onto the floor, and I was fine with it, because I was like, man, I didn't want to ruin the hot box in that moment in time. At this point, we just chilling in the car, talking. We let the hot box go. We rolled down our windows, and our favorite pastime, talking like we did this as much as like we'd be watching some fucking baseball on the TV or something every Friday night or something, whatever days baseball comes on. I don't know, I don't watch it. If you do, I hope this doesn't offend you. I'm just not a huge personal fan of baseball. If you are, it's perfectly okay. I understand if you like watching men in uniform whack balls with sticks. It's understandable. Too far? I don't know. Whatever. So after the hot box, we just chillin', let down the windows, watch the smoke billow out of our car like a chimney stalk, bro. That just billowing. And we love doing that during the day. If you want to hear about just the ridiculous places we used to box this car, let me know down in the comments below and slap a like on this video, man. The car is all aired out, and we just chilling there with the windows down for a few before I go home, because I wanted to try and at least air out the car a little bit, thinking in my mind at the time that it would help with the smell if I were to get pulled over or anything. Stay tuned. So in my mind I was just like, oh, but just leave the windows down, it'll help air out the car, it won't smell that bad if a cop were to walk up to the window or anything. So we just chilling, talking. I don't remember what we was talking about. We were probably talking about for 15 to 30 minutes before I was like, alright man, I gotta dip. I needed to try and get home because earlier in the day I had dropped off my grandma downtown with some friends because they were going to some art gallery, I believe, something along those lines. I don't know. I was trying to make it home to just hang out a little bit, have a little bit of me time, enjoy my high a little bit before I gotta go pick up my grandma. So I was like, alright, I'm a dip. I get down his road to a stoplight, and I'm just at the stoplight's a red light. I'm just sitting there waiting for the light to turn green. I noticed that a cop pulls up, not behind me, behind the car that's behind me. So he's 2 cars back. Now, at first I didn't realize it, but he was there. So the light turns green. I go all normally, like, get about probably like a few hundred feet past the light. To my horror, I watch him flick the lights on and pull my ass over, and I'm shitting bricks at this point, bro. I'm like, oh man. I was so worried, because I knew that my eyes got bad too, and I did not have any eye drops at the time, and I wasn't able to put none in, and so I was like, shit. Paranoia like you would not believe. And I was mainly worried, more or less because of the fact that I was 17 at the time, and this happened in May, and my birthday was in November when I was turning 18. So I was worried that if they really wanted to, they were about to try me as an adult. I was worried I was going to jail 100%. And I was also worried about, like, I was like, oh man, my grandma, I gotta pick her up. What am I gonna do about that? I have to call her and tell her that I was just brought to jail? But I was just trying to act as normally as possible. So I was just like, in my mind, I was like, I got this, some 007 type shit, pulling it off. I thought. He comes up to the car, the usual exchange. How you doing, officer? Where are you coming from? Oh, just coming from my friends. Where are you headed? I'm just headed home right now. And then he hits me with it. The question that I was hoping you wouldn't ask, that I'd be able to get away with. Is there any marijuana in the vehicle? Hardly. I hardly had any left. I had like a bowl left, and I was gonna go home and smoke it. I was playing hard to get. I was like, no, absolutely nothing. He was like, are you sure? Yep, nothing. And he was like, I'm gonna ask you one more time. Are you sure there's nothing in the vehicle? It's best to just be honest with me. And I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I got some weed, a pipe, and I think I had just gotten a little tiny grinder at this point too. I had just gotten that shit, and I was hype about it. Told him I had that too. He was pretty much like, thank you for telling me the truth, because as soon as I walked up to your vehicle, I smelt the odor of marijuana extremely strongly. I had forgotten that with how many times I'd boxed that car, that it just smelled permadank, uber dank. It smelled just straight skunk ass 24/7. Nothing you can do, especially when that car was sitting in the heat for a little bit. Perma dank. So I hop out the car. He searches me. I don't have anything on me. I tell him where everything is in the car. He searches the car a little bit more too. I think I also had cigarettes and I was underage, and I think he gave me a little bit of shit for that as well, but he didn't care too much about the cigs. He grabs all the stuff. The 0.3 grams amount of weed that I probably had, that was probably exactly what it was. I think it was like 0.3, 0.2, 0.3 crumbs, bro. My pipe, which was a nice pipe, man, that was one of my favorite pipes. It had a fat bowl, man. It had a chunky bowl. The chamber was fat. You could rip the shit out of that thing, man. I don't know why I went so soft with saying that word, but you could rip that pipe, bro. It was a nice ass pipe. I loved that thing. He took that too, along with my mini grinder, which I was super bummed about. I had to call someone to come pick me up, because he wasn't letting me drive home. Instead of calling my grandma, because I didn't have to pick her up for another, at this point, couple hours, I think, I called my mom, and she was staying 45 minutes away at the time. I called my mom, though. She made the drive to come pick my ass up. That cop sat on the side of the road with me and my car for over 45 minutes. The cop was actually really cool about the whole situation. He wrote me a warning for what he initially pulled me over for. The whole reasoning I got pulled over in the first place for all this bullshit to happen, I had a taillight out. A taillight out cost me all this headache, man. I constantly had something wrong with that car that was always getting me pulled over for some nonsense. I tried talking to the cop, but he wasn't really having it. He didn't really want to have a full-on conversation. I don't really blame him. He wrote me a warning for the taillight, and he did have to write up a report for the paraphernalia and the small amount of weed. He told me that nothing was gonna happen. He told me that most likely nothing was gonna come from this whatsoever. He was like, this is more of just a warning rather than anything else. Just be smarter. Because he was the type of cop where he didn't care that necessarily that I was smoking weed. He was just like, be smarter and don't keep this shit in your car, juvenile. You know, just kind of with that demeanor to him a little bit. But he was alright. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna get off of this shit. All clean, no worries, super close call, but we're gonna be okay. So my mom gets there, and after 45 minutes, my eyes are still looking, I'm still looking gone. I'm still looking roasty McToasty out here. Mom gives me a brief talk, you know, pretty much just like, what were you thinking? We went back to my grandma's, and I still had a little bit before I had to pick her up, believe it or not. I was trying to have all this time to just be at my house chilling and smoking some more. That wasn't the case. I was spending that time sitting in the back of a cruiser. Not in handcuffs, thankfully. Not in handcuffs, at least. We get home to my grandma's. Mom gives me a stern talk, which I don't necessarily remember the exact conversation, to be 100% honest with you. Real stupid move. Real dumb move, man. That was, don't do it. Don't don't risk it, guys. It ain't worth it. Don't risk it for the biscuit in that case, especially if you on the verge of being a adult. If you already are an adult, you're probably gonna get slapped with handcuffs, depending on where you live. And if you run into a cool cop or not. Finally, all this is over. Awesome. Next morning comes. My grandma never found out. This was just between me and my mom. Cop said nothing was probably gonna come out of this whatsoever. So, my grandma didn't know. Next morning, I wake up to a knock on the door at 9 a.m. And I'm like, ugh, solicitors at 9 in the morning? Like, what's this? Why? Who's knocking on the door? I open the door, and what do I see? A lady in a nice suit with a paper. Oh, man. Don't be what I think it is. Of course it was. It was a court subpoena for me. And my grandma had no idea what it was. And she's there at the door. I'm talking to her about what it is and stuff like that. My grandma comes up. She finds out that it's for weed and drug paraphernalia. I lie to her and say that it was my friend's. And he just left it in my car. I don't think she really believed it, but that's what I said, just so I didn't have to tell her it was mine. You know. If you guys have done anything like that, blamed anything on your friends that you did to your parents or grandparents, let me know down in the comments below. But that's what I did. I blame my homie. Sorry, man. He already knows. So I had a court subpoena at 9 in the morning for 0.3 grams of weed, a pipe, and a grinder, after the homie said that most likely nothing was going to come from this whatsoever. And I ended up going to that court date, getting sent to the Diversion program, which is just a program for juveniles pretty much. And once you do this program, your record gets nullified or something along those lines. And the whole diversion program experience is for another video. That's a whole nother story. If you guys want to hear that story and if you enjoyed this one, please leave a like on the video, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to me. It means everything to me, guys. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it made your day just a slightly bit better. Hope it put a smirk or a smile on your face at some point through this video. And till next one, guys. See ya.